resilient nature to the move.
He is Resilience SF.
Hey, Giants fans, stay healthy, stay strong.
Giants pregame now brings you the manager, Gabe Kapler. On your home of the orange and black, KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
From the Oakland Coliseum, game 2 of the three-game series, the Giants and the A's, the All-Bay Area interleague matchup. I'm John Miller with Giants manager Gabe Kapler, and Cap, last night's ballgame, on the surface, it looks like the Giants got shut down, but on the other hand, if you kind of look a little more deeply, it also seems like there was some bad luck. For instance, Flores hit a ball really well in the second inning with a couple of men on. That got caught, and with the bases loaded in the third, Bryant did the same. Hit a line shot over 100 miles an hour out to center field. Sometimes those balls are just line drives with a lot of top spin that end up being base hits and knocking people in. Sometimes they go a little further, or sometimes Starling Marte is not out there to make an outstanding catch. What was your read on the way the Giants actually swung the bat versus the results last night?
When I was in the minor leagues, John, we used to call that stupid hitting. You don't want to hit the ball right at the best defender on the field. Try a different part of the ballpark, and of course those things are set in complete jest. It's really you're just trying to hit the ball as hard as you can. Sometimes they land on the grass and the gaps and seats, and sometimes they're just right at people. And you mentioned bad luck. In some cases, it's Starling Marte getting a great jump. Getting his hips and shoulders turned in the direction of the baseball, taking a perfect route, and having excellent sprint speed and just kind of outrunning the baseball. And I think that's what happened there on Wilmer's drive, and Chris's was just directly at Starling. And we're expecting that if we continue to take those kinds of swings, eventually we're gonna be rewarded for it.
Okay, well I think that's the key word there. Just once you hit the ball, if you square it up and you hit it really hard, it's kind of out of your hands whether it ends up being the hit, because, for instance, Josh Harrison, he hit one, and he didn't hit it well at all, but it just kind of dunked into shallow center, and he knocked in 2 runs with it. So
that's a great point.
That's baseball, I guess.
That works. Baseball is certainly a game of inches, and we've always talked about that. Sometimes being off the barrel is better than being on the barrel. But of course, like we'll take those swings off the bat of Flores and Bryant every time. Trust that over the course of time that'll work out well for us.
And how valuable was it last night where Alex Wood, he just had this huge, long, never-ending inning, 36 pitches. He was at 85 pitches through just 4 innings, and yet he was able to go back and give you not just one more inning, but a very strong inning. How valuable was that?
I had to have a conversation with Alex after the 4th, and to be honest with you, I was prepared to take him out of the game because of that long inning. 35 plus pitches, and look, I mean, this is a guy that has worked really hard, and you know that in a game like that, those pitches can be especially stressful on the shoulder, and I just wanted to make sure that he was healthy. He fought hard to stay in that game and give us an additional inning. He said he was fine, and he proved it. I said, this is me trusting you, and sent him back out there, and he gamed up. You know, it was really nice to see.
So Starling Marte kind of took over the game. It turned out the 2 runs was already going to be enough for Oakland, but he kind of took it over there in the 7th inning, and he hit the double to knock it a run, and then he just stole a run for the Giants. About that, because obviously you had a chance to get him out at third, although Flores had a ways to get behind him and went into left field.
Yeah, you know what? We sort of sensed that play was coming. We were on top of it, but we weren't able to execute it. You don't get rewarded for knowing what might happen next. You get rewarded for being able to kind of predict something like that and then being able to execute the play. And that execution is slow. It's Alvarez, and it's us making sure that we practice those plays enough to be good at them. So that was just not good enough on our part. We have to do better.
Giants and the A's. It's game 2 of the 3-game series. More Cap right after this.
That was a tough break last night. This is Giants Baseball Corner, and I am MTK on the MIC. That was a tough break for Jose Alvarez last night with 2 outs. And the breaking Marte, he had him beat, the ball would have gotten there in time. and 90 feet away from home, and it falls apart. That was a bummer because I like Jose Alvarez. He has performed well. And this is what we're coming to now, the 28-man roster. Who will stay in the pen? It's been incredible. I began by complaining about them, but now I'm with the camp that realizes this is unbelievable what we've done here. Using so many bodies and rotating them in and out and going down to the minors and bringing them back up, DFAing guys, trying people out like Kazmer and Brebbia and letting them have enough rotations that you can test them, check them out. And we're left with what we filter down to, you know? And we've had success stories. Zach Littell. Unbelievable move there with Zach Littell. He was struggling a little, but he was good. We sent him down and let him just be, working on the game a little. When he came back up, he's been smoking hot since, eating in innings since. Slowly introducing the two rookies at the beginning of the season. Camilo Doval and Sammy Long. Trying to get them innings so they get some time in there. We've gone through so many of these, and it's very hard as a fan for me to get used to Moneyball tactics like this. The constant changing, you don't know who's... And then the frustration when the pen blows up. That happened a lot for me early on. But now I grasp they've been formulating a pen that can work. And we're going to see now with the 28-man roster what happens.
And today, Sean Manaea for the Athletics. The Giants will be countering with Kevin Gausman. And for Gausman, your assessment of his last start and where he is now after he went through some struggles there for a while.
I thought his last start was his best in kind of recent outings, and I thought the fastball played better. I thought he located it more at the top of the zone where it plays so well, and I thought the split really started to come around. And mechanically, I thought he looked great. He was tall, his posture was good, he was down and threw the baseball, so promising. He's got a lot of work to do. This is a tough lineup to get through, and particularly with those lefties stacked in the middle, we've got our work cut out for us. But Gaz is certainly capable of the performances that he produced basically from last year all the way through midseason this year. Our expectation is that that's going to show up again.
And Buster Posey in there, day game after a night game, but thanks to the American League rules, he's in there as the DH. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's nice to get Buster off his feet, but also keep the bat in the lineup. And it's one of the cool things about having the DH is we've been so diligent about resting Posey. We just don't want him squatting back there for 9 innings, day game after a night game, whenever we can avoid it. So this is a way to get Posey's bat in the lineup for all 3 games in this series. He'll be back behind the plate tomorrow, assuming health. And so it's nice to know that in a big series against the Athletics, we have our one of our better right-handed hitters in the lineup for all 3 games.
Posey in there. The Giants trying to snap a 2-game losing streak, and that's the Gabe Kapler show for today.
Thanks, John. That was, of course, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, John Miller, with the Gabe Kapler show. This is Giants Baseball Corner, and I'm MTK on the MIC. The Giants looked a little out of sorts last night. The offense, again, very quiet in the 4-1 loss. This problem we're having with the offense is interesting because it doesn't show up all the time. If anybody were to ask me right now, is there any pitcher that the Giants are afraid of, I wouldn't name the people that I think a lot of people would name. I think it's Kwang Hyun Kim, KK, they call him, in St. Louis, who 3-hit the Giants twice and looked dominant in both performances. We went out to Washington and faced some good pitching, and they shut us down there. I remember we had a game in Miami against Alcantara. Again, 1 run. These quiet games where the offense sort of dies out have been against very good pitching. This is August. I call it the dog days. I think a lot of people do. And at this time of year, a lot of times, things aren't really about how they've been the whole time or how they're going to be. It's kind of that in-between space. Today, La Stella and Lamont Wade Jr., Tommy La Stella and Lamont Wade Jr. are both getting a day off. So the lineup is with Darren Ruff out there and Wilmer Flores out there. So we'll have to see whether or not those guys can get some action on the bags. I am MTK. This is Giants Baseball Corner.